Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Seek Therapy Podcast. It's me, Jasmine,
And America.
And Jasmine Ty.
and we are back, baby. So, how's everybody been? What's been our highlight? What's been our challenge? Um, I'll be starting. So, my challenge has been just like a lot of minor inconveniences that made me just kind of blow up. Not like a huge blow up, but just like it felt just exhausting. It was just like enough. This has been enough. So did I talk to y'all about Oakland?
Mm-mm.
You told us you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there and then I was not. Take that how you will. But my highlight was Oakland also because I got to spend time with one of my closest friends who I don't get to see that often, and her boyfriend and Joe. And so that was very nice. Um, and I needed a whole nother break after that break. So you know how that goes. But yes, how has your week been, America? Let me know. Let me in.
My week has gone well. Challenges, I would say, well, it's been 2 weeks. So the only real challenge that stands out is that IFS training. And I think it stands out as a challenge for numerous reasons, but the biggest one is just the time constraint. Baby, next time I tell y'all I'm signing up for some shit, remind me to see what all is required.
Okay.
Because
Mhm.
even though I didn't tell y'all I was signing up for it, but it's because I was applying and I didn't want to talk about it if I didn't get in. But shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello? I must just to click apply and didn't pay anything
Right.
else that you mentioned. But just the time around that of seeing people all week and then going into the training all weekend, and then it's 90 hours total of
Mm.
so that will also require a couple of weekday night practice group situations. And then I think
Mm.
it's 3 more weekends, maybe 4 more weekends. Um, so that's a challenge, just being in that space. It's only 3 or 4 of us that identify. It's only 3 or 4 of us you can look at and you know for a fact that
Uh-oh.
we're black. Um, So that makes the interactions interesting. But I think they did a really good job of the practice groups and making sure you were with folks who you could relate to and you look like. So I give them credit for that. Um, and just the fact that overall it's very much take care of yourself. So I had my camera off and I walked on my walking pad those 3 days. So that was helpful. It helped me stay focused to a certain extent. But anyway, that's my challenge. Um, Highlights. I got a list of highlights this week, y'all.
Oh, come on now. Let me in. Save some for next episode.
Oh, yeah. Let me ration them out a little bit. Okay. Um. So my first one is, baby, it's February the 5th, and I still ain't had a drink. Okay. So
Yes.
made it
Look
through
at
dry January.
you.
Won't he do it? Okay.
He
Um.
will.
And still not having a drink. I've planned out the times I will drink between now and 4th of July. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
nice. I know, seems kind of whatever. Feels nice. It feels like it both kind of gives me something to look forward to and a way to hold myself accountable and discipline and all the other stuff. Um, oh, let me be clear. This is not because I have a drinking issue. Even though if you do have a drinking issue, there's nothing wrong with it. Do what you need to do. But this is more so just discipline and my body health stuff in general. So,
Mhm.
um,
I love that for you.
thank you, girl.
No, for real.
Um, Baby, my waist is getting smaller because this bra is getting bigger. Okay,
I know
waist.
that's right.
So it
Period.
means the work is working. Okay. Um,
Right.
Yes, we
Work
love
is
it.
working.
good about that. Check that off. And then I'll save the other ones for the next one.
Mm.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you, girl.
Jasmine, let us in, sis. What's been going on?
Hmm. I would say a challenge has just been juggling work and then going back to school myself, coming
Mm-hmm.
out of this leave of absence. So I'm trying to start lesson planning and being organized and being on top of my shit because it's about to get real. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. Do people say they're in their senior year of their graduate program? Is that a thing? I don't
Yes,
know. Okay.
senioritis is real in grad school too.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. So I have 2 more core classes, my 2 minor classes, and then my 3,000 hours, and that's it.
Not that's it.
And then she said, and then my little 3,000. I said,
Because that takes 2 years. Hello?
Well,
"Ooh."
but I just
and
that's
get
the
and
capstone,
you're
you
talking
know?
about 3,000 hours for licensure, or what are you talking about? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, like, out here. I guess for me, it's that transition of, like, classwork versus field work. And, and getting to that point, because I remember signing up for this and being like, "Man, that
American
seems so
flag.
far away."
I'm
America's
sorry.
like, "Yeah, because 'cause I'm out here in the field, girl."
She
So,
said,
I
"I'm
don't
in
know
the
which one is
trenches."
worse, to be honest. That's like,
Right, right,
But yeah, so
especially
it's really
now.
just it's been a challenge organizing myself, holding myself accountable, and not letting, like, the anxiety of it all, but kind of looking forward to this new chapter.
Mhm.
And it's gonna require me to just shake some of this old shit off,
Why
you
I
know?
was gonna say shake some of his titties.
Oh, well, those 2.
But I guess you do, like, shake your titties when you're shaking it off.
Right, 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 right.
Shake it off.
America is done. Um, and I would say a highlight for me this week, I connected with people. I got out of the house.
Come on, friend.
So
good.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, this past week feels good. I had a really good conversation with my younger cousin yesterday, just about goals and dreams and finishing up school and moms and,
Nice.
just
Mhm.
yeah. So shout out to Nzinga. And I needed that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Nice. I love that. And I also have to stop and say I love your sweater because 'cause I'm a leopard lady, so
Of course, because
it's
you're a
giving very
Cancer,
much
so is
so.
Jasmine.
Yeah.
And I love
Glasses.
olive green, so, alright, it's too much.
Um, but y'all know I love to put people onto new things that I'm reading, working out to, listening to. So let's go ahead and get into new. What's new with you, boo? Oh, I like that. Um, well, I probably should have thought of this. Um, I would just say, like, making sure that you are scheduling all of your yearly exams. It's
Oh,
a good time to start making sure you're going to the doctor. I went to the doctor, got my teeth cleaned, just staying on top of your health and making sure that you are prioritizing that piece too, because I know how easy it is to look up and it's been years since you've been to X, Y, and Z. And so now is a good time to just take care of that and set up them appointments.
mhm, do that shit.
I can't remember if I said one of these new news before, so I'm just gonna say one of them. My new news has been my. I feel like I said it already. Oh well, to hell with it. I'm gonna say it again, so y'all don't be listening no way. The first one is my new news is a sauna blanket.
No, I've never heard you say that.
Oh.
Okay, good. So
Okay, good.
so I've been using. Y'all know one thing I'm gonna do is spend some money on some shit. So I really enjoy. At this point. I really enjoyed the sauna at the gym. However, I wear a mask at the gym, and so being in the sauna with the mask, really not giving what it's supposed to give. Um,
Mm-mm.
and
It's given Death Valley.
yeah, it's bad enough trying to squat and
Right. Like,
mask on, Baby, I'm not finna sit in a sauna too and
Mm-mm.
stress myself out even
Right.
more. Heart rate be crazy too. Like, bitch, get somewhere. Anyway, so I got a sauna blanket. It's really nice. Um,
Now walk me through it real quick, cause I
Yeah.
ain't never heard of
Oh,
this.
so
blanket.
think sleeping bag, but the inside is insulated. It's almost like the little feel it on the inside, like how
Mhm.
the insulation is
Okay.
on the
Like a
uh
sweatsuit.
yes, there we go. Sweatsuit, lunch bag, whatever. Think about that. And so you just go in, you plug it up, you wait until it heats up, you shimmy in. You can zip yourself in, but shimmy in and you just lay and do whatever. So I've been
Is
using that along with reading.
and how much is the one you bought? Cause
They
I'm
have
on Amazon.
options.
And see, I didn't ask how much are the options. Cause I'm
Girl.
looking, it's a wide range. It say 169 for, I'm assuming cheap, up to $600. So
So there's a wide range. I will say this is my second one. My first one may or may not have melted, but that
melted.
Were you in it when it melted?
no, and I didn't. I did something to tell you not. So it was,
Oh.
but I got mine. So
I thought the sound went out. And on.
so
I bet I'm weak.
Girl, a YouTube exclusive.
yeah, I did what I wanted it to be hotter and it wasn't working for me. So I was like, oh, let's try.
I said, I just know. Dogs, cats, and babies know when you doing
I
something.
just anyway, I wanted it hotter, so I did some makeshift stuff.
Nigga rigged it.
It melted. So, I did what needed to be done. So I'm back with another one.
And what about you, Jasmine?
Oh
What's new with
shit.
you, boo?
I
I'm still
would
cracking up.
say, oh my God. I would say my new is so when I dropped Pilates, I joined Diva Dance
Period.
and
When did
I
you
really like it. What'd you say to me?
Shit dropped like last month,
Yeah, like
December.
coming into the new year. Yeah, like I
Oh,
finished out my last sessions the
she said
beginning
she
of
was paying
January.
like 180 some dollars for that.
$190.
It
Yeah.
wasn't having
Yeah.
time to go.
No, I was still going, but it was just like
It
it
was a
was
bill.
it was a bill. It was a bill. It was a whole
Yeah.
bill. So Diva Dance, I signed up right before the end of the year and snagged there. I pay less than half than I was paying for Pilates and it's unlimited. So as long as
Wait,
like the song is
wait.
popping, I'm in
You
there.
was paying $200 and it was a limited Pilates?
It was 8 sessions for 200. Reformer Pilates is expensive. It's
I
a
don't
bill.
I don't want to chime in on yours, but we went to a free Pilates 2 weeks ago, and I was
Club
gonna,
Pilates?
yeah,
I was
and
in
I was
Club
gonna get a
Pilates.
membership, but
That's what I was yeah, that's what I was a member of.
I said, no, I don't mind spending money, but help me understand. You can't book between now and the next 4 weeks, and the unlit like there was every class was full from now to a month out, and you only pay $200 for unlimited,
I
and
was
I'm not
yeah,
doing it.
I was
that
regularly waitlisted, and when you're
yeah,
waitlisted,
Uh-uh.
someone has to cancel to get on,
yeah no
Uh-uh.
and yeah, because there's only in the studio, there's only, what, maybe 10 to 12 machines in there, you know?
yeah
Yeah, and, yeah, and then I was like, "Well, they cater a lot towards women who have
Stay
the
at
access
home.
to class in the middle of the day."
Stay at
So those
home
after
now.
5 o'clock classes, I mean, they book
Right.
up real fast. So it wasn't conducive for my budget for
Right.
going when I wanted to go ideally to,
Right.
you
Your
know
goals. Right.
yeah. So but I enjoy Diva Dance. Their, motto is community and confidence.
Period.
And yeah, it's dope. And so what it's forcing me to do, which I didn't expect, is like get back in tune with my body. Because I'm like, okay, am I a counter? Am I a boom cat cat? Am I singing the song? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
Right. Am I
So I be
doing
in there making
hair?
the band myself real quick.
I feel you. Boom.
Better
Cat,
get it. Snap.
cat, cat.
Uh, all that.
What was the last song y'all did?
Last song we did was Single Ladies,
Oh,
and
come on, getting you
it took
ready.
girl, it took everything in me not to be hitting that original choreography, to, like,
Right.
break my mind out of, like, because we weren't necessarily doing that, so yeah. But it's been a few different ones. They have, America, um, and so so they have different varieties. So, there's, like, pom-poms, so it's, like, it's given NFL cheerleader, choreo. They have chair dances. They encourage you to bring your heels. They just this month, they're gonna try out a floor routine, so they encourage you to bring knee pads. Yeah,
Oh, are y'all about to be humping the floor?
I'm sure for that class. The way
Okay.
my hip flexors are set up, I'm not ready.
The way these
Yeah.
30s coming through.
Right? So, yeah, but I'm enjoying it, and it's a lot friendlier to my budget. Ding.
Yes, and you're still getting your needs met.
Right.
We love it. We love it.
Mhm.
You know what else we love? Ending systematic racism.
Mm, won't she say it?
Mic drop. So yeah, it's just been a lot being black in the US as of late, as of early, as of every day. Um, and so I thought it would be helpful to just kind of give us a space to be black, to talk about how fucked up it is that we are dying in our homes, that we're being treated differently in 2023, and people feel like there's been so much progress made when there's like a literal war on the niggas at my job.
She ain't
It's a
dealing
war. It is. Why is all the niggas at my job being targeted? Myself included,
with
honey. It's a war. And we got to be ready to fight at all costs.
I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. I'm back. Y'all, shout out to ashwagandha because baby, in the last month, I done laughed so fucking,
I love ashwagandha. That's that girl.
and I be laughing about shit that ain't even really funny. So I'm sorry. But how are they under? How are y'all under attack? What's going on?
It's really just like them minding our business. I'm sure y'all saw that TikTok that that
America. Uh,
that TikTok that I posted where the girl was like, I'm gonna do a quick lesson. Okay. This is my personal bubble, and this is your personal bubble.
yeah,
Yeah.
This is my business.
right.
The only problem is you are also here in my business.
Mm-mm.
And that's how I feel at my job because not only do these motherfuckers not know what I do, because I just actually found out what I should be doing.
Oh my gosh.
I meant to tell y'all that we had a meeting and my supervisor was like, "Yeah, you should only be seeing the kids 3 to 5 times a year." I said,
Oh, I was doing 3 to 5 times a week.
I was gonna
I
say, how
said,
often were you seeing
I
them?
said, "Me and these motherfuckers be kicking it."
Oh, shit.
We be
Ooh.
talking like
So, did they not hire a licensed therapist to do the work of a licensed therapist?
so they want me to provide like brief counseling and then refer them out to other places. And I've been trying to refer them to other places, but hello, systematic racism is raggedy fucking places. And they are not working in a way that is helpful.
Mhm.
And so it's just raggedy as fuck. So I'm like picking up the slack because I'm like, I want these kids. Like, I'm here to be a resource. Why would I not? So now I'm like, do I just need to start? Like, I don't know what to do. Because if a kid comes to me and wants to talk to me, I'm not gonna be like,
No.
oh, sorry, I saw you for your 5 sessions. Like, I'm not doing it. So that brings me back to everybody thinking they know what I should be doing, myself included, and trying to add tasks and things like that that they're not adding to other people. And so I have brought that up in meetings. I'm like, excuse me, the other PSW, she's not being asked to do this task, so I'm just having a hard time understanding why this is falling on my lap. And they don't like that because I'm supposed to just do what they say. And is it because I'm black? Like I should be lucky that I have this job? No, y'all should be lucky that I'm here because I could just be a therapist.
Mm.
I mean, that's true. But you know how those spaces, corporate, academia, it really don't matter where you are. If you are a black woman in a quote professional setting, the expectation is always that you are supposed to go in, you smile, you grin and bear, you do what people tell you to do, you don't ask no questions. And
Right.
if you are a social worker or a therapist, you really just are a martyr. So you take on extra work, you don't have any boundaries, you work past your time, you take on everything. You don't say shit. You just do it.
Look
So
at America defining everything I'm not.
okay, so that's what they expect from you, and you're doing the
Right.
complete opposite of that, and so you're disrupting the
I
expectations
am.
you have, which I love because I can be honest. I'm very much motherfucker this and rah rah this, but most of the jobs I've gone into, I didn't disrupt. I went in and well, at first I would go in, okay, I'm gonna pay attention, I'm gonna see,
Same.
and then eventually, baby, you got me fucked up. But
Right.
it would be a while before like now, okay, I'm compromising myself and I would not have
Right.
boundaries and let them say and do whatever. So I love the fact that you going in there like, nah, you're not gonna play in my face.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, when I was talking about that to Joe at a point, I was like, damn, like, am I doing too much? And I was like, no, because I literally have to work there. I drive an hour to be there because I want to work with black kids. So it doesn't make sense for me to be in some bullshit.
Right.
No, I'm not doing your job for you. No, I'm not working for free. No, I'm not staying late. Sorry, get over it. And they can't stand that. And one thing that I can't stand is how the principal has all this. The principal rules the schools, right?
That's
Rules the
awesome.
schools. And that's literally how they act, right? Like they are a god or something. Um, and says that we should know our students, but none of the students know them. But you know who they do know? They know me. They come up to me during lunch. They come find me after school. They get kicked out of the school and still come up there to come see me. And so it is so difficult being in this space because my job is to be black, to be unapologetic, to expose these children to black culture, to expose them so that they have a healthy sense of identity, cultural identity. And when we are constantly, and I say we because it happens to me too, are constantly being targeted when other people walk freely doing whatever they want to do, coming and going whenever they want to, it starts to wear on you.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, in my therapy sessions, I'll be talking about work a lot.
Mm.
And I hate it, because I want to be talking about me and working on the things that I want to work on. But we spend more time at work than we do living, unfortunately.
Yep. Hmm. And some of those things are transferable too that you are talking about in therapy as it relates to work. But what's happening with the kids? How are the kids being targeted?
The kids, so you watch Euphoria?
Yeah. Lord have mercy.
You see how the kids dress or like how teens dress nowadays? Like they be wearing crop, everything showing all. The black kids dress just like the Mexican kids do, sometimes even more modest than that. And they are the ones that are being called by black people, by black campus aides. Oh, her outfit is a violation. The same outfit that I just saw Lil walk by with.
Mm.
Hmm. And did y'all talk to Lil? Hmm. I could walk. I go and I told y'all I go and get my kids. I don't feel comfortable having their name on the walkie. Like I'll just go to their class and get them, and I'll walk them back. As I'm walking, I see plenty of Hispanic kids walking around without a pass, meeting up with their homies. It looked like the mall on a Saturday night.
Mm,
Not the
But let
mall.
a black kid walk by, got a pass, maybe don't got a pass. Oh, I need the BSAP team. Meanwhile, little just walk by and just hit they pin in the bathroom.
The audacity.
that reminds me of there was a study done, and if you've ever done any like DEI training or racial equity training, like extensively, one of the videos they do is basically like a test to see where your eyes go, right? So like if you're watching a classroom of kids, who are you more likely to pay attention to? And in the big study, of course, it showed that teachers, administrators, their eyes always go to the black kids first to see the behaviors that the black kids are exhibiting versus paying attention to the other kids. And I think that's
Right,
another great example of that. One child can be Hispanic or white or whatever, and because they have lighter skin, it's not a concern. But you're or they probably don't even see them if I'm being completely honest. But then
right,
the black kid or a child with darker skin tone, and the first instinct is, oh, I have to watch them. Let me make sure that they doing what they supposed to do. Oh, they're not okay. Well, then they got to get the hell out, or they got to receive some sort of consequence for it. But I think what's crazy though is administrators move in that way, and they be of color too. But
right,
that really speaks to the internalized oppression. It
right,
speaks to the anti-blackness that even black people have. Spoiler alert.
right,
I know people like to think that like we actually now we can't be racist because racism involves power. And so we cannot be racist, but we can be anti-black. And a lot of us show
right,
that, especially in professional spaces and how we interact with other black folks.
right. Ooh, talk about it because there will be older black social workers
Yeah.
that instead of empower you and be a mentor to you, target you and lie on you and say that you're not doing things, and it's really just rooted in fucking whiteness and wanting to be accepted.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah. Crabs in a barrel syndrome is real. Especially as you're talking about the older black people. And then I think sometimes people think they're doing older black people think they're doing younger black people a service, right? So like, oh, I'm gonna get on this young black girl who's curvy and make sure that she covers up because I want to protect her. But I'm not gonna say
Right.
the same thing to this lighter skinned child because they'll be fine. And so the people can always create a story for whatever the hell they want to create a story for. But
Right.
the way older black people tend to treat younger black folks in a professional setting is fascinating. It's only enough room for me.
It is.
The way, so you don't get to be a part of this too. So I'm gonna pull you down at every turn. I'm gonna find things wrong. I'm gonna complain and talk about how you did this or didn't do that, even if you ain't know you were supposed to do it. And I'm supposed to tell you to do it. I'm
Right. That part.
uncomfortable.
Mm. But a lot of what y'all are saying reminds me of the implicit bias test,
Yes,
that
that's what I was talking
assessment.
about. Thank you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so even when you take the implicit bias assessment, even as a person of color, more oftentimes than not, we end up with uh, that skewness towards dark darker skinned people of that's where our eye goes. Um, yeah, that's something that's always stuck out to me. I think a lot of with that older generation is they get hung up on, and I don't want to make a generalization, but hung up on the perception and what it takes to be perceived and taken seriously in white society. And so when you're not following accord to what they believe that perception should be, then it's a problem. Whereas
Mhm.
with most of our newer generation, we're not trying to have it. Like I'm not I'm not being submissive in public just because the color of our skin is different. Like fuck that.
Right.
you know? Like we didn't come all this way for that bullshit.
Right.
So yeah.
And that's because they center whiteness
hmm
and they have this idea of professionalism, which we got to remember. First of all, professionalism is a construct of white supremacy,
Right.
but also understanding that for a lot of older folks, centering whiteness and falling in line with this idea of professionalism has allowed them to be able to survive. It's allowed them to be able to reach some sort of social mobility or, at the bare minimum, feel like they're closer and connected to white people. So
Right.
you're right. I do think that they have internalized this and they center it in that way. But whether they realize it or not, it's literally for survival.
Yeah. I've been fortunate in my career with jobs I've had up until this point to feel connected to Black women that are also in the workspace, mostly
Well,
because
that's
we
nice.
tend we
I'm
tend
like,
yeah, mostly because like we tend to be uh one in a few, so
mhm.
maybe out of a team of 20 there might be 1, 2, or 3 of us. And I have found more of an experience of walking into a room and trying to make, that finding that sense of community, right? Looking for who
Right.
looks like you or who you can relate to culturally.
Right.
My last position, I was hired on to do medical record keeping. Um, got really deep into the company, ended up a smaller company. They ended up going into an audit. And long story short, by digging into these records on what was my job description, even though I was being trained in 3 different departments, this is within 90 days. I'm trained in 3 different departments. An audit comes down for Medicare, and all of a sudden it's, well, you dropped the ball in the medical records department because we don't have the records we need for X, Y, and Z. So they needed to prove that there was a valid prescription on file and some other information per patient. Well, as I start
Mhm.
digging into this, we'll come to find out your records for most of the patients hadn't been updated since like 2019, and they're supposed to be done yearly. And when I mentioned this in a meeting, within the next 2 weeks, I was moved from my position and swapped with the other Black woman in the office for reception. So then she went to medical records and I went to reception. And that was supposed to, oh, well, we'll revisit this, in 3 months. And yeah, now I also will mention that that move was around the time that my cousin passed away. And so they framed it as, well, you're going through a lot. So we're going to take this off your plate. So they used my personal, and so
Mhm.
rather than feel some type of way towards this older black woman, I just put her on, just put it out there like, hey, when you get in there, this is what you're gonna see. And da 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 da. And sure enough, that is what she saw. She felt more of a connection with the company. I soon thereafter moved on into a position that better suits me and my skill set. But I didn't fault her for uh, wanting to be a part of that team. Um, from her perspective, she got the come up. They moved her into a better position, better pay. They essentially, I don't know how you get demoted within your probationary period. Actually, no, what it was, no, I take that back. I had crossed the 90 days, and instead of giving me the pay jump that I was deserving for that position, they kept me at the same pay and moved me to reception, and then tried to frame it some other kind of way.
Well,
So what?
that's why, because they was wrong as fuck.
Oh, of course.
And so you wouldn't sue them or collect their ass and get them together. They gave you the same pay and
Mm,
demoted you and tried to be funny. That's what that was.
exactly. So, I just in my experience, I have found it that, yeah, I found it more of a rally. There was a younger girl that started, um, in the reception position soon after me, and I had heard people in the office kinda talking about how she just wasn't on par, and, saw her out in the hall and kinda just gave her a heads up like, "Hey," not to get in your shit, but, like, "I've only been here X amount of days too. This is what I'm hearing around the water cooler. Just FYI." Did she curb the behavior? No. Did they soon let her go? Yes. But just, for the moderation, I tried.
Sorry.
I
She
tried to help her
said
play it out.
nah, she said, "Anyway, they gonna get what I give them."
Period. Okay.
Yeah.
She said,
So
even if I do it right, they still gonna talk about me. So, baby, I'm gonna do it all.
right, right. And so, yeah. And that's just the newest. There's been many of a situation. One of my really good friends has a lot of stories with workplace microaggressions and just how it can be being black in the white workforce. When we lived in Austin, that was something that um, I was hip to.
That's what I was gonna ask because y'all are in the South and I'm in LA, so life is very much so different for me that I would imagine it is for y'all. So, what I should do?
I think it depends. In Texas, it depends. The more metropolitan areas, you'll have the more I don't see color white folks,
Mm.
um, and not so much the overtly MAGA white folks, but they're there.
I
Um,
mean, we got them in Orange
yeah.
County.
And the MAGA tend to be like the older who've been with the company long, all that stuff, especially because oil and gas is out here. Um, but I will say that there in Houston, there's also just a lot of diversity. There's a lot of brown people here. Um,
I mean, there's some brown people here
yeah.
too, but the way that this black and brown, like, it's either you love each other or you think that you're better than us still.
Mm,
Well, I'm in North Carolina, so depending on where you are, you're gonna see a wide range of things and you're gonna have a very wide range of experiences. So you're gonna get the I know you just took a sheet off 5 minutes ago, people, and
right.
then you're gonna get the no, but I'm fake woke liberal whites who think that they are willing to give up their privilege in their position of power to ensure that black people have it, but when it come down to it, they're not. So you got like it's a pretty wide thing there. And I've worked in a lot of different places and I worked a job where I was the only or the first person in a position and the only black person that they had working there in a clinical capacity. And this is a team of white women who just knew that they were woke because they predominantly serve black and brown families. And baby, y'all are not woke, y'all are not supportive, y'all it was horrendous actually. So it was I took on more. I was the only one also unmarried and without kids. So I clearly don't have nothing else going on. And so
Mm.
it was an attempt to exclude from the beginning. Like I made them uncomfortable. And with eventually my supervisor crying after I told her, like, baby, you racist, right? Like you racist. No, I love black people. And I was like, but you don't.
Why are you
I was,
crying
why
then?
are you crying? And I was like, and let me count the ways. So um, after
That's
having those conversations and everybody sitting around crying, I'm still sitting there like, so now what? Because you crying. Well, bitch, I'm sad too. So what we gonna do?
mhm,
Um,
Right.
and so having those conversations that, well, we've hired I think two or three more
Oh,
black
that
women at the time. And I'm like, diversity is not the answer. I know y'all
there
think that if
it
you
is.
hire more black people, it's gonna make it feel like a community, but the answer
No.
is equity. The answer is inclusion. It's making it where your black staff members feel equally supported. It's making sure that the caseloads are balanced. It's
Right.
making sure that you're not asking your black staff to overextend and overcompensate. You're not asking
Or
your
giving them all the high risk clients
that was
because
my
they can
caseload.
handle it.
Right, that was my caseload. I had the high, and when I say high, baby, I mean the high needs folks where you're so good with their moms and you're so good with the kids and you're really good within their system and you're going in there and you're creating change. I'm like, yeah, don't get it fucked up. I'm that bitch. I can work. I'm gonna work. And why is it
This
that
is a
I'm
lot.
the only one on call? Or why
Right.
am I having more on call weekends than anybody else? Or you say that nobody has to respond to a crisis in person after 5 o'clock. It's 9 p.m. and you called me and was like, well, you're going to have to go out there. And they're 45 minutes to an hour away from my house at 9 p.m.
mhm,
Like, maybe we got to start having some honest conversations. So
Right.
I think that I would honestly, sometimes I'd much rather be around the Trump toting, white sheet wearing folks than around the people who think that they
Right.
woke and they're not racist. Because the fact of the matter is, I don't care who you are. If you are white, you are racist. Why? Because you benefit from the system of racism. Period.
Right.
Period. You benefit from it. And unless you are willing to stop and give up some of your power and some of
Right.
your privilege so that the black people around you are able to be equitable, it's just lip service.
And that's just like, did I tell y'all that the white lady at my job was like, I feel like I'm treated better, like unjustifiably.
Okay, so what you gonna do about it? That would because I had a white girl tell me that too. America, they don't give me the same stuff they give you. I said, so what you gonna do about it? What?
Because it's
Yep.
literally
Right. So what you gonna do?
so
Are you gonna
if you see it, imagine how it is feeling it.
exactly
And so let's do something about it. Let's file some grievances. Let's
right,
use our privilege to ensure
right,
that we're all being treated the same way.
right? Or next time you have a crisis after 5 o'clock, you go. You know I had to go yesterday, so you go. Well, I don't want to do that. So then why are you telling me that you notice the differences if you're not willing to do anything? I say you're just as bad as they are. Don't come to
Mm,
me with that bullshit. Don't. And that's just what it boils down to. It's easy to
right,
talk, but white folks who say they're allies or white folks who are administrators for large school systems with a whole bunch of black and brown kids, there's more work to do.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
I was telling my mom, I was like, the fact that the principal is who they are and they run the school the way they do, that is scary
Hmm.
because this is people's lives.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The
Babies'
people
lives.
that work here, the
Yeah.
people that go to school here, like sometimes school is the only place of safe haven for people.
Mhm.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a I have actually been deep breathing.
As you should.
Like, when something has been, like, frustrating, like, I legitimately be like and I was like, "Damn, that should be hidden."
Not it be hitting. Wait till you start deep breathing and using the VOO afterwards. That shit gonna really hit.
Is it me?
Ooh,
Yeah, we can talk about that later, but it's phenomenal.
yeah, let me know. Um, how do you all deal with microaggressions? And, we've also talked about how white women have used our content or benefited from our content in a sense, um, and not given any credit or anything like that. And so, how do you kind of deal with that? Because for me, when I started my practice, I was like, I only want to help Black people.
Mhm.
And then I got a couple other people, and I was like, okay. And then I had a couple white people, and y'all already know how one of them went. And I was like, I'm not doing this again, you know. But how do y'all cope with all of this shit?
Um, I would say my coping starts with I don't center whiteness anymore. Um,
Right,
and so I think y'all know my racial development journey and all that good stuff. So hell, to me, that's a punch in the face every time. But for me, it's showing up as my full self
authentic self.
and doing what feels good, even if it doesn't necessarily meet other people's assumption of how a black woman should show up or how a black therapist should show up. It is making sure that my practice is centered around blackness and black women. I do have two who are not black and they still get the same thing everybody else get. So I'm still
Right,
neck rolling, I'm still snatching edges, we still having these conversations in the same way. I'm not gonna switch it up just to
right.
attempt to appease or to change anything else up. Um,
Mhm.
and then I think another way of coping is just I have to well, hell, I stopped working for other people. That's another part of it because I was like, I have to be in a space where I can control who I'm around and what I do.
Right.
So I remember once upon a time there was cannot remember what it was, but I was having a conversation with somebody white and they were like, I can go a whole day and not see nobody black. Like I can go a whole day and only interact with white people. And I was like, sign me up.
Must be
But in
nice.
the reverse. And so now
Right. Because I was like,
oh, but yeah, now in the reverse. So now I can go a whole day, days, weeks at a time and not have any interactions with anybody who makes me feel or attempts to make me feel like my blackness isn't welcome or like it's not important. So that's another way that I've taken back that space. In terms of being on the internet though, that is always a fascinating space because I've seen white women, white creators who have very large, very, very large followings.
mhm.
And I've seen their posts and I'm like, damn, this look real familiar. And then I have
Right.
to be like, well, damn, did I take this from you or did you take this from me? And I'm like, well, I got the viral TikTok about it. So bitch, you must have took this from me. But like you done took out a word or two, and don't get it fucked up. Black creators do it too. They guilty
Do.
too. But okay, whatever. Get your. But the white folks tend to do it on a higher level, and it's
Like,
very
shamelessly. And it's always usually, like, people that have bigger followings
yes.
getting it from people with smaller
Smaller
following.
always. I can't tell you the number of times. It's two accounts in particular where I've seen my exact caption as their post, and they got 50,000 likes. And that goes to black ones too. I see you, boo. See you, booze up. But it's like I'm like, damn, this shit. Oh, excuse my bleach thing. I'm like, this shit. See, I go back and scroll, going back in time. Bitch, I said this 2 years ago. You thought I wasn't going? realize that I said it because it was 2 years ago. You thought I didn't see it. So that happens a lot. And I've seen some therapists, black creators, call white folks out and have those conversations, and more power to them. But I've also seen as a result they get death threats. They got
Right,
complaining to
exactly.
the board, all
Right.
types of shit. And
I'm
baby,
not doing that.
I said a long time ago, the last thing I'm gonna worry about on this here app, any of these apps, is likes. I'm worried about my coins. Okay.
Right,
And as long as my coins look like what they look like, bitch, you can copy everything I say. Because it doesn't change the fact that what you say there, if it's not transferable in the work that you're doing with people, you really can't fuck with me. So
right,
that has been like my now I don't feel good still, but that's kind of how
right,
I'm dealing with it.
right. And you just have to remember that, like, you can steal the recipe, but it's
Mhm.
the juice that adds the
The juice.
flavor,
Yeah.
so you don't got that, you never will have it, and so it'll still be bland. Hmm.
Yep. It'll be blunt.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think that you said a lot that I definitely identify with. Showing up as myself. This is the first
yeah.
job that I've ever been able to out
Mm-hmm.
the gate,
Mm-hmm.
because usually it's like,
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
pulls out nose ring, like,
Mm-hmm.
shit. Just
Yeah.
like start testing the waters. And so it feels nice to show up as myself and let that be felt,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that, and that might stir up a lot in y'all, right? But
Right.
that's something for y'all to work on,
That's not your problem.
right?
I agree
But
100% with y'all. In the school that I work at, I am proud of I hate to use the word diversity, but it is an eclectic bunch of cultures there. And I think the kids do have a sense of privilege of going to school with kids that wear religious garments and have teachers who are hijabi and uh, teachers that are Black women and mostly men on the staff and things like that. It's different from when we moved to the suburbs and I had a complete culture shock being just, flying milk at that point. Um, I realized that I first dealt with microaggressions, I would say, or just even like racism from other kids when we moved to the suburbs. Um, yeah, having a crush on a boy and not really, I guess, factoring in seventh grade that he was white until he made comments of, um, I like you, but like I couldn't introduce you to my parents, or like my grandma wouldn't like this, or when when I
so
was
your grandma's racist. Go on.
right, right, but, like, as a 7th grader, are you collecting that? You know what I mean? It feels icky, but are you making those connections? Um, and so now being a teacher in a middle school and having students of that age, and just noticing things as they're blossoming. This past week, myself and, the other Black female teachers, it just got away from us with like testing and everything to like put up the new bulletin board for Black History Month. And I was beating myself up when I left work on Friday that like we didn't get that done in the first week,
Mm.
because of course, like February 1st, the kids are some of them making, kiddish, ignorant comments about Black History Month. But it's like this is the time now to like, you know, bring the information to them and present it to them and like get them involved and and excited about it and you know curve their ignorance in a way. um
Mhm,
and so yeah, so I was beating myself up that I didn't show up for my Black students last week enough with everything else going on. um yeah, I think in the past you guys said it on the head, like you just have to show up as yourself in these white spaces, um
mhm,
and let that be enough. For those of us that have been conditioned through childhood to minimize ourselves, there
mhm,
is a sense of acknowledging that and then
mhm,
consciously breaking free,
Yes.
because it is real easy to minimize yourself in white spaces when
Yes.
you've conditioned to do so because of a figure of authority.
Yes.
Right.
I'm glad you said that because that literally has been my whole existence. Well, my childhood was around you center whiteness, you do what you have to do. It's about survival. So you're gonna sound like them, you're gonna go to school with them, you're going to be friends with them. Um, those are the kids that you are going to be around. You're going to be in those white spaces, soaking up all of the information, all of the things that you can, so that you can move on to the next thing. You're gonna be quiet. You're not gonna be out here cutting up all of that other type of shit, right? So you're right, and it takes really getting to a point of making a conscious decision of, okay, were those things beneficial? Sure, to a certain point, they were, they allowed a certain level of success, they allowed a certain level of things to happen, and they were also detrimental because I had the reverse. Mine was, you sound like an Oreo, you
Mhm.
why are all your friends white, you think you're too good to be around the black kids. And the white kids thought I was God's grace because I wasn't like the other black kids. The teachers thought
Right.
God's gift,
And they'll tell you that too.
and they will tell you
Yeah.
you're not like them.
And that feels just as icky.
And it's like, I'm not. What does that mean? And then
Right.
I'm on the bus, and the black kids like, baby, you not like us. Like,
Right.
you hang out with the white kids. Until I start rapping a Project Bitch by Lil Wayne and the crew and the
And
big timers. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh,
and
you are
it
bitch. Come here.
Oh, you are.
And then everybody
I'm
be my friend.
right. It's
But
actually duality.
that's what it is.
get
But
into
at
it.
the time, of course, I didn't know that. So, you got white people calling you an Oreo and saying that you're the token and like being confused about, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And then also you got black kids sometimes wanting to be around you and then sometimes not too. And it really takes like a while for you to be like, okay, how do I want to show up absent of what I've been taught or what I've been conditioned to believe? And it's still
Mhm.
hard. Like, it's
It
still hard
is.
to
Yeah.
show up with the long locks to your butt and then the nails and the lashes and everything. Like, it's still, and I look at it as an act of resistance every single time I show up as
Mhm.
myself and what feels good, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Right. It is hard. And I love to be me. I have a playlist that I play on the way to work and it's called Pulling Up Like. And it has Kendrick Lamar, All Right. It
Mm,
has the song that I told you about, I got time today, bitch. I got the time. It has all of that. Lizzo, it got Saucy Santana, it got all of that because I come up in there live. I got my shit loud
weird.
and let you know that yes, I can still give you the clinical jargon that you need
Mhm.
and I know what's happening. I could do a little something, pop a little something.
I'm that girl.
Period.
So
What was you about to say?
that's a question, but I can wait.
Wait, easy.
I can wait. It's a question. We fine. Keep going.
Okay. But yeah, I think it's important to just one show up as yourself, even when it can feel like uncomfortable, because I know, like Jasmine was saying, some people are conditioned to kind of dim their light to just kind of skate by and fit in. But I want to let you know that this is literally your life and you are the main character in your life. And so it doesn't matter what the outside people are saying. Like, if you want to show up as yourself, do it,
Yes.
Mhm.
period. And the people that are upset at you being black as fuck and good as fuck at your job, let them, because that is a them problem. And you just continue doing what you got to do.
Mhm.
Standing up when you should, knowing when you should, when and how, right? Because you don't ever want to put yourself out of position to like get fired, so you want to make sure that you are staying within those boundaries, but you do want to make sure that you do advocate for yourself because you are important and ain't nobody more important than you,
Right.
even though people all feel that they are.
I think just reminding yourself like we are the main characters of our stories. And oftentimes, we always say, like in movies, right? Representation matters.
Mhm.
And we're often cast aside and letting someone else take that spotlight. But no, you are the main character of your story. Arrive in every room that
Yes.
you walk into.
Period.
And in order to do that, you are going to have to unpack your own internalized depression and your
Yes.
anti-blackness because
Yes.
we all have it. I
Yeah.
don't care where you are from, what you have been taught, who you've been around. We all have internalized depression and anti-blackness because one thing white supremacy gonna do is its job.
Right. You see, they ain't had no new trainings. The old shit's still working.
And they're not gonna have no new ones. So
Period. Not on my watch. But yes, like the people that don't date brothers, don't date sisters.
because
Uh-huh.
baby,
Let's
that's
see.
your anti-blackness. How can you look at okay,
When
whatever.
you come from a black woman and you
But you
say,
don't date
nah,
black
I
women,
don't
it's
want black
like,
women,
literally, you hate your mother. Like, what?
you hate
Crazy.
yourself.
And if that's
Literally.
the case, you probably also could benefit from trauma therapist and doing some work around your mother wound or your daddy
Mhm,
wound. Either way, you got some
mhm.
shit to unpack because baby, don't nothing about that make sense.
No.
Nothing.
We all
And no
go
one's
through stuff.
saying right, and no one's saying, like, you can't be in interracial relationships. It's when you go to the extreme, like, I do not date black men, black women, and then you start to, like, talk shit
Yeah,
about them, like, that's the issue.
that's the problem. I don't give a damn who you love or who you want to be with. The issue is when you say, I love black or I only like white women because black women got an attitude,
Or
they this and they that, and da 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 da. You can love who you love without bringing down the people who look like you. I promise you.
right,
Literally.
that's it, and that's all.
And say that shit to your mama and see what she says.
Right. Oh, I ain't never thought about that. Like, do y'all be telling your parents that you feel this way? If so, how does it work out? But yes, this was a very timely chat considering all the bullshit going on in the world. And so I hope that you got something out of this. And I hope that, if anything, you get yourself a therapist so that you can deal with all of the many microaggressions that continue to happen to us on a daily, day-to-day basis. So gone ahead and seek therapy. Remember, you can do what was it? You said reformer Pilates.
Mm-hmm.
You can only drink green drinks. You can do 20,000 steps a day. But if you're ignoring the things going on in your head and in your heart, then you're still not truly healthy. So go on ahead and seek therapy. We all need that shit.
Oh,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.